Yo, what's going on? And welcome to some Batomon Showdown. Now, this obviously you could tell by the name is kind of Pokemon themed, but it's an auto battler, and we played a few auto battlers on the channel before. We played a lot of Bazaar. I kind of fell off of Bazaar mostly because of the balance that I wasn't a fan of, and now I'm not too happy with how they changed their system overall. But I still like auto battlers. And this is a demo for a new one that's probably coming out later this year. And so far I played it a little bit and it's been really fun. It's got a lot of synergies. They kind of took out a lot of, like, Bazaar has a lot of interesting events that you do on the days and stuff, and like specific things you can shoot for. This game kind of took out most of that, and maybe they plan to add more stuff in, but it's more just like make your team, find some good items for it, and then like go, and hopefully you can get good enough synergies. So it doesn't take as much time to do a run. It's a lot simpler, I would say, in that point. But it does have something cool that the Bazaar does not have, which here is like kind of like your Pokedex, quote unquote. But essentially it's just all the different monsters, and then whether or not you have won with them, which is indicated by the silver trophy, whether or not you have won with them at level 3, which is indicated by this ribbon here, and then whether or not you have won with them while they're shiny. So like shiny, like Pokemon, they come in different colors. And here you can pull this up at any time to kind of see what a guy does. We'll use this guy as an example first. We can see that he does poison. He's a toxic type. And then, so as you get more of them, they level up. So here you could see, like, what does he do at level 3? Level 3 is kind of like the max level in most cases, but every once in a while you could push it past and get to level 4 with special things. You can see here that the jump from 3 to 4 gives multicast, which is just like, he just activates twice whenever he activates, which is obviously really strong. But then if we look at the difference between just the regular guy and the shiny, you can see that the shiny version gets an even different effect, which is every time he does a battle, he gets one more poison. So, and that stacks over the course of the run. So the thing I like about auto battlers is like making something that slowly builds over the course of the run and blooms into something or like beautiful at the end. You can see here that leveling up also increases this effect. But anyways, we're just gonna play a. You can see I'm pretty low rank. I haven't done too many matches, but we're gonna go ahead and play a ranked game because I think the ranked games are a little bit more difficult than the normal games. So when you start, you get to pick a trainer, and the trainers do specific things, and you're probably gonna be building your run around whatever your trainer does. Now, if we look at the first one you probably don't build around as much. This one's kind of a funny, unique one. And there's a lot of trainers. We could have looked in that like Pokedex thing and seen what all the trainers are, but there's quite a few of them. This one, on day 7, transform monsters on your active team into random level 1 legendary monsters. So this is essentially, once you get to day 7, everything you've built completely re-rolls into legendary monsters, which are technically like the highest rarity of monster that you can find by conventional means. There are some mythic monsters, but you can't really just like get them normally like you can other monsters. So this is kind of like a crazy thing that I probably wouldn't do because it's pretty much impossible to plan around that. And plus they all go back to level 1, so it doesn't really seem that great. Here's one that I have used before, your toxic monster. So we were just looking at that toxic monster. They have +1 poison, and when any monster levels up, so you saw that they come in like level 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever you do that, it increases this effect by 1. So if we level up a monster, then we're permanently, all toxic monsters are getting 2 poison instead. So this is pretty good, but it does kind of force you to want to play around toxic monsters, right? And then trinkets are like the items that buff your squad. You want to pick trinkets that try and synergize with what you're doing. But this guy, when you get trinket gifts, your choices are 1 rarity tier higher. So how it works is normally when you level up a monster, like we saw here, leveling up gives poison. But also when you level up a monster, they give you a trinket for leveling them up. And if you level up like the guy we looked at earlier, he was a common monster. So if we level him up, we would get a common trinket. But if we leveled up a rarer monster, we would get rarer trinkets. And this guy just increases the rarity of those trinkets. And obviously, the more rare the trinket, probably the better it's going to be. So this is just a pretty solid thing that you can use in any build, but you could use it well. So I think we're going to start with this guy because it'll let us do anything and we won't be like shoehorned into poison. Ooh, I see that they've changed since I played the UI very slightly. It now seems to show how many items you have on the day here. So when you buy an item, it replaces it with one of the monsters if you have no items left. Otherwise, it replaces it with an item. So, but immediately you can see our shop here. We're a rank 1 shop, which increases every single day. And that will decide what rarity of stuff we can find. So right now at the rank 1 shop, we have a 100% chance to find the lowest rarity, which this Venopuff guy that we looked at earlier, he's the lowest rarity. We got $30, and these guys all cost 15. There are some that cost 10, although maybe they changed that because I thought this was a 10 cost guy. Maybe I'm crazy. So what does our item do? Get a random monster from the current shop. So that'll cost us 5 gold, which will then mean that we can't buy 2 monsters. And I think we want 2 monsters. Now, I think the strongest guy here on his own is this guy. Magmite is really good because he gives you shield. And also, if you're looking at a monster, you can see here you could hold shift. And then it'll pull up what the things do, right? So burn, it's gonna, when he attacks, which happens every 4.5 seconds. I should probably not hold shift for too long. I don't remember if I have, like, sticky keys on. Or is that if you press shift a whole bunch? But anyways. So he's going to take 4 burn, which is then going to like put burn on the enemy, and it's going to burn them twice a second and decrease the burn every time it ticks. So unlike poison, which does it once a second, but it doesn't decrease the poison. So burn is faster, but it also will decrease itself. But then you also have shield, which blocks damage, and damage from status effects, so burn and poison, will do 25% less damage to shields. Which is interesting because a game like the Bazaar made it so I think poison ignores shields, but burn does less damage to shields. So they kind of stole half of that, but then applied it to poison as well. So this guy I feel like is one of the strongest ones to start. And you can see here, Venopuff attacks every 3.5 seconds, so he attacks faster. But I'm really tempted, because we have 2 Venopuffs here, to just take both of them. Because you kind of want, like if we're gonna go poison, then we probably want as much poison as possible, right? So let's do that. We'll take both the Venopuffs. That we'll have to skip this item. I didn't want to do this item because if we got this Joltail, I feel like we would have been sad. Because Shock is kind of a weird one. Shock makes it so they take additional damage when they get hit by an attack. But Joltail's the only guy here who attacks, right? He does damage with the red damage there. No one else here attacks, so no one else would synergize with Joltail at all. So I feel like we would just lose if we got Joltail randomly. But it would have been good to get a guy for 5 gold instead of 15. So here, you play against real people and you play against their boards, but like you don't actually interact with the stuff. So that's why they can do this, like, I think it's called asynchronous multiplayer, where it just like takes a snapshot of what they were doing and then puts you against it. So like this was their day 1 board. This is my day 1 board. You can already see why Poison was so good and why I thought that Joltail would be really bad because he just kind of doesn't do anything super early into the game. And then if you want to like look at how everyone did, you can see that these guys each inflicted 20 poison. You can see that this guy healed for 75 and that Joltail did 64 damage and inflicted 40 shock. And you could also replay the battle if you like missed something, didn't quite see what happened. You can replay the battle and see how that actually went down. And then you can also look at your trinkets and your opponent's trinkets here, or you could just look at the board, see, because stuff will actually change here. Like right now, this is like just a base Venopuff, right? He attacks every 3.5 seconds, has 4 poison. But you saw, like, if we got a shiny one or something, he might have 5 poison right now, and we could lower his cooldown so he attacks every 3 seconds or something. So we could look at them. Like this guy, apparently, he does extra shock, right? He does 10 shock per hit, which this guy normally only does 4. So obviously this guy has, I think his trainer increases shock. Okay, this is new. Give your monsters 5 damage, feast. That didn't used to be in the game. So you can see now the shop is ranked 2, so we got a 90% chance to find the lowest rarity of stuff, and we got a 10% chance to find the next rarity. And so if you didn't realize, this is the team that we have out, and this is the bench, where we can put people, like if we want to keep it, but he's not quite ready to be on the team yet, then we put them up there on the bench. So, Venopuff, if we grab him, we'll level up Venopuff and we'll get a trinket. So I think this is the obvious play. Oh, I right-clicked instead of left-clicking. And then he gives us a trinket, which our trinkets are increased in rarity because of our trainer. And you can see here that we could either increase the shop rank, which is going to make rarer things come up, but common things are going to appear less often, right? And right now, we're trying to max out Venopuff. So we kind of want to find common things. So maybe we don't want to level up our shop quite yet. But I think the most obvious thing to take is just the Venopuff having 3 extra poison. We could get this. I do like this one. But because we are going to have another Venopuff, I think this is the right play. So now you can see he has 11 poison. So earlier we had 2 doing 4. Now he's doing 11 on his own. He was just doing 8, but the trinket is buffing him. And then we could get another one. So now instead of doing 4 or 8 poison every 3.5 seconds, we're doing 18 poison every 3.5 seconds. And then this item is free, so we're going to go ahead and buy this. And now we have 2 Venopuffs that also deal 5 damage at the same time. This guy's actually really funny. He's really good on day 1, and if you could get him in shiny, he's really good. But he does 150 damage, which is a lot when you don't have a whole lot of health. But he knocks himself out, which means that he does not get to go off anymore. So he's kind of just a funny guy that I haven't really made good use of before. The one disadvantage to what we've done now is we only have 2 monsters, right? And we're probably going to run into someone who has like 4 or 5 monsters already. So we're hoping that these guys being so buffed up by what we've gotten is going to be enough for us to beat someone. But it could be close. We could potentially lose this day just because we have not very many monsters. This guy's got a lot of shield. Pebbler here is one of my favorites because on his cast, you can see he increases how much shield he creates. And obviously shield takes less damage from status effects. So this guy's build is pretty good against ours, but we're creating a lot more poison than he's creating burn. So I think we're just going to outpace him way too quickly. Yeah. And then here we could see how much everyone did. You can see that even with Pebbler getting the extra shield every time he casts, he still made less shield than the Magmite. And this is why I like Magmite. I just think Magmite's so good. Also, Magmite casts faster than Pebbler does. But Pebbler can be really good if you get the right stuff for him. He's one of those like common rarity monsters that could get really strong if you could find some synergies for him. But at base level, Pebbler's not the greatest. So here we have a random event. I don't know if they come up on specific days. Like this is the start of day 3. I think you might always get one at the start of day 3. But these events can be various things. There's not too many different ones, but there are a few different events. And I think the later you are into the run, you can get even more like unique events. But this one, so we got the choice or the chance for a dragon egg. Which the egg you could put on the field, it's kind of a useless monster because you can see it has a 10-second cooldown and only does 1 damage. The dragon egg itself kind of sucks, but you can see at the bottom there, it hatches into a legendary dragon in 3 days. So if we can survive for 3 days, which is pretty easy to do, like it's hard to die that quickly, um, then we'll get a legendary dragon. Right now, we don't know what this will hatch into, but I think if we pick it, then it'll tell us what it's going to hatch into. But we don't know if that's going to work too well for us. The second option here is actually a really good one. It just makes it so all your monsters have 12 damage. So you saw earlier that our Venopuffs got 5 damage from eating that feast. They would then instead have 17 damage, and anyone we add going forward would also automatically get this because this is a trinket, whereas the feast was just on use items. And then we can also take the money. A lot of times I think that the sword ends up being better. But the good thing about the dragon egg is it is a legendary monster, and we can just sell it for money later, which is worth, it's probably going to be worth a little bit more than 20 coins. So unless we need 20 coins right now, then the dragon egg's probably a better choice. And then if you ever want to like look at your team, you can also do that, see what trinkets you have before you make your choice. You could also even go here and then look at all the possibilities, right? Like we could go down here and be like, what is a legendary dragon? So it could be like this guy, it could be this guy, it could be this guy, and it could be this guy. And you could read all their abilities and see if it seems like you'd have a 25% chance of getting all of these, which ones would fit for you. But yeah, I think we will take the dragon egg. Let's do it. So does it show us what it's going to hatch into? It hatches into Oncetra, which if we go here, which one's Oncetra? It's this guy. So the ally behind applies their ongoing effect in additional time. We haven't really seen ongoing effects. This is pretty niche. I don't think there's that many good ongoing effects. You could also see here, we could always re-roll the shop, which costs money. This item here, though, is going to give us a free re-roll. However, we might buy in a different order. Oh, so there are still common ones that only cost 10. Like, this Bumbolt guy is kind of weaker, but he does synergize well with a good shock team. I do like this Craghorn guy. You can see he's our first uncommon dude. Now, Craghorn, you can see when you use an item, he gains permanent 20 damage and 20 shield. So the earlier you could get this guy, the better, because you get at least like one item a day. So what we could do is we could buy Craghorn. We could buy the fake coin to give him stat buffs. And then I think we'll buy another Venopuff. So we got still a bunch of poison. Now we got someone who's actually shielding for us. The egg is just kind of here chilling. There's no reason to take it out while we have free slots. And then, should we reroll? Because right now, like, our chances for finding common stuff is just going down every single rank up, right? So I want to reroll, and there's our level 3 Venopuff. You can't sell the egg for anything, right? I would probably sell the egg if we could get the level 3 Venopuff. We can't, so we're going to go ahead and lock the shop, so all these same options are going to be here the next day. Your shop re-rolls every single day, so you can use the day to re-roll your shop. But in this case, we want the Venopuff, and I did that while we had a higher chance to get the Venopuff. That was the thinking there. But let's get into the next battle. So far, we're okay on strength. I would say we're a little bit weak right now just because we don't have a full board, right? This guy's got a full board. And this is a lot, right? These guys are just going to do 310 damage and then stop. Like, yeah, they died, but we're already really low. So I think we're going to die just barely. Yeah. We were 2 ticks away, 2 seconds away from winning, but this is like a super early game effective build, right? You can see that these guys did more damage than... Oh, I guess this guy does a lot. I do like this guy. This guy's kind of OP. But I used him a few times, so I was like, all right, I got to stop using this guy every single time. He just fits like into every single build. But yeah, you can see that these two got him pretty far ahead, and then we still got close, but weren't able to pull through there. Alright, so now we could finally get the Venopuff all upgraded, which gives us another trinket. This one's interesting, but you have to keep gold, which I don't really, especially early game, I don't really like to keep gold around. And like I said, I don't really like leveling up the shop too much early. So I think we'd rather have this to get some free rerolls. We do have another uncommon. This guy's kind of interesting because he sucks. He only deals 1 damage, but he keeps increasing his value, right? So when you buy something, like we bought Craghorn for $25, right? If we try and sell him, he sells for half his value, rounded up. So he sells for 13. Now, if we buy this guy for 20, he would sell for 10, right? But if he's on the board, on battle start, they have to be in your team. They can't be on the bench. So it would be OP if you could like put this guy on the bench. But if you have this guy on your team, then his sell value goes up by 20. So if you could keep him on your team one day, you've already made 10 gold off of the purchase. Well, hold on. You spent 20 and you sell him for 30. Yeah, you made 10 gold. But if you could keep it 2 days, all of a sudden you've made 30 gold and so on and so forth. And if you upgrade him, like that goes up. So he'll become more and more valuable. But I don't think that's a very good investment for us right now, especially because our board is looking pretty barren, right? Like, we need some stuff on here. I think we want to reroll and see what we can find. Lots of level 2s. We're not really doing shock, and I think Frizzy's not good unless you have shock. I do like Plunderbird. Plunderbird's an interesting guy because he hits... First of all, he's got multicast too, so he hits twice. And on cast, you get $1. So every time he casts, because it's multicast, you're getting $2, right? So if you could use Plunderbird, you could actually make a whole bunch of money. I did this crazy run one time where I got Plunderbird. Like here, let's show what Plunderbird can become. So here we got Plunderbird. I had him at level 4. Like, I just randomly had it so the situation was perfect that he got to level 4, which makes it so on cast he gives you 2 gold, and he has multicast 8, but he was also shiny, so he actually had multicast 10. So every time he went off, he was giving me 20 gold, and he would go off a lot because I had other people trying to make him go off. So I was getting like 400 gold per run, which was really fun, or like per battle, which was really funny. So we're gonna go ahead and get Plunderbird because I like him. We'll get this gray chip. Unfortunately, for us to get the effect, we'll have to win, and I think we're still kind of weak. So I don't think we're gonna win, but we want to get the item for our Craghorn here so he gets some more stats. And we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I think we're probably still gonna lose. And we'll save our reroll, I think, because we don't really have any money. But so now, the longer a battle lasts, the more money we make. Oh, this guy also, they give permanent cooldown to the guy behind them. So this is another, like, guy who wants the battle to last long, right? And this guy does heal us 50 every time. Because he's multicasting. We are gonna die here, it looks like. It's not, oh. If we had had one more cast at least. So you can see here, this is how many lives we have. Once this hits 0, we lose. But you do get like what's it called? A final stand when you hit 0, and it gives you 1 heart back. But yeah, it's kind of tough for us to beat a full board right now, especially since they had this guy in shiny. Doing a lot of damage. He did 882 damage. Like, everything else on this guy's board sucks except this guy. Oh, Cake still exists. Beast is just a better version of Cake. Cake gives 5 damage to 2 random guys. Okay, so here we finally got another Toxic Synergy. So whenever this guy casts, adjacent toxic allies get +2 poison for the battle. So you want this guy just sitting next to a toxic guy, and then he'll buff them slowly. I think it's very reasonable for us to grab that. The real question is, do I want to... These guys are kind of slow, so I think I want to grab this guy first. If you reroll the shop, it will reroll the item. I kind of like Cake, so I think we're going to grab Cake. It gave it to this guy, which is good because this guy's damage sucks, but he has multicast, so over time he will become more effective. And if we move this around, we can see that he is now next to that. And then I don't think we really want any of these guys. Let's go ahead and reroll, see if we can find something better. And we found another poison guy. This guy's kind of interesting because he also wants lots of toxic allies adjacent to him. And this only works on common people, right? Yeah, you can see when you're hovering over a guy, here it shows like a golden box around anyone that he interacts with. So you can see this is our only common guy, so this is probably not worth it for us. And this guy, you can see that we have 2 toxics. But yeah, both of our new guys kind of want multiple toxics next to them. But it's hard to do that, right? Because of how the board looks. But I do think we still want this guy. So the question is, what's better? Him having 2 people next to him or him having 2 people next to him, right? This guy casts pretty fast, but this guy casts faster. And this guy triggers whenever an adjacent toxic ally triggers. So this guy could go off a lot. So I'm kind of thinking we do that. You can see here now this highlights everyone that is affecting his ability, which are both of these 2. So this guy, while he's not going to get buffed by this, will trigger this, and this guy's going to get buffed by this and trigger it at the same time. We still have the egg in the team, mostly because we don't have enough money to get him out of the team. But we don't have any more commons that we want to level up. So now we want to try and get this uncommon shop higher. So before we use our rerolls, I think we're going to wait till the next day, so we have a higher uncommon shop chance. And now this might be okay. We obviously still have the egg, who kind of sucks. But the rest of our board is pretty decent. They also have this guy, but he doesn't have any friends, right? So he's not going to be as effective. Yeah, you can see that we're just stacking up tons of poison. We'll see at the end here who did the most poison, but I think Puffloon is probably going to end up doing the most poison. Just because of how he works. And then here, if you were wondering what this is, you kind of get badges every time you win. You want to get to 10. Once you get to 10, you win. Obviously, you lose if you run out of hearts. But let's go ahead and look at our stats. You can see that Puffloon was indeed the champion of creating the most poison. He even beat out this guy who does quite a bit of poison. And this guy is just giving this guy a lot of poison. So even though this guy's poison number is low, that doesn't actually mean that he sucks. Because he's making this guy do more poison. And you can see here that this guy only went off a single time. So, like, if you don't have toxic allies, this guy sucks. But if you do have toxic allies, he's amazing, right? This guy did a lot of damage. This is a super rare guy. But it was not enough. Okay, so now we got another event, which is a meteor. We could either get $40, we could get a meteor on battle start. Monsters with no abilities gain 20 damage permanently. So who has no abilities? This guy has no abilities, right? He just on cast does stuff. This guy has an ability because down under the cast, it's an ability. This is an ability. This has an ability. This is an egg. I don't know if that counts as an ability, but this is about to hatch anyways. And this has an ability. So the only guy who would get anything is this. But this final thing here is level up a monster. And this is how you break the level cap. So I was saying earlier that, like, we can't find any, like, we can't continue to level up Venopuff by finding more Venopuffs. I think you still technically can find them, but combining 2 level 3s will not get you a level 4. But events like this could make you break the level cap. Now, it might also be good to level up one of our lower levels because these guys are all like really good, right? This guy's going to start getting more permanent stats if we level him up now. But I think getting the break to level 4 is really valuable. So why don't we check what the difference is? So level 3, we got that. And level 4 gives him multicast, which is actually crazy for our team, right? Because, oh, what did I just do? I didn't mean to hit that, but it just went backwards. So we remember that this guy triggers every time the toxic allies around him trigger. So if this guy's triggering twice as often, this guy's also triggering more often. So this, I think, is the obvious choice. Wait. Oh, wait. Is this... Did I read it wrong? Level up a level 1 monster. Oh, dang it. Okay, this is not an event where you could get a level 4. I read it wrong. That's my bad. There are events where you can level up to level 4. This is not one of them. So then I guess we're choosing between these. We could level up this guy before he hatches, because then he'll hatch as a level 2. But I kind of think that that's a mistake because I think the guy it's hatching into is not going to be that good for us. Okay, so we need to look at all these guys and see what's the biggest benefit we can get out of a level up. And for some, I don't like how they did this menu. I wish you could select and then move over here, but the only ways to do it are like go here so it's at the edge of the screen, or like try and maze your way in between, but it's really hard because their hitboxes extend out. You could do this and click, or what they want you to do is press tab and then press S to switch to shiny. But anyways, if he's level 1, he gives that. If he's level 2, he multicast. Oh, that's really good. Him multicasting every time someone casts next to him, which obviously Venopuff is going to cast twice, so this guy's going to multicast twice. So I think level 2 is crazy, right? What about you? You give 4 poison instead. That's good, but I don't think it's quite as good. And then what about you? You get multicast 3 and heal a little bit more. As good, but I think that this is crazy. So let's do that. Oh, well, we didn't look at this guy. I think it buffs him up to 40. Yeah, he gets 40 shield and 40 damage every single time we buy an item. But right now, we only have the ability to buy like 1 item a turn. There are ways to buy more items, but currently we don't have access to it. And this guy's new, actually. I've never seen this guy. 30 stacks of every debuff on your team. That's interesting. I guess because there was really no way to get rid of poison before, so I guess they did that. There's like one guy who could get rid of poison. Where's the guy who could get rid of poison? It's you. This was like the only way to get rid of poison before, so I guess they made another lower rarity that can get rid of some poison. Yeah, obviously they're updating the game and stuff. So this would be good, but I think this is better. Giles, I didn't get to read that message, but I see that you retracted it. Anyways, let's do this guy. Okay, so this guy did hatch now. Yeah, I mean, MD's Master Duel is weird, right? Because it's definitely the cleanest and best card game simulator on the market. But the game as a whole, like mainly Yu-Gi-Oh, is a bit problematic to get into or just play. Because like I was saying earlier with those time travel decks, like if you don't know what to do with the deck, like I don't want to spend 20 minutes reading what every card in the deck does. So that's kind of annoying, and then it's stressful because like your opponent could just like have some strategy that you're not expecting and stuff like that. But anyways, this guy just hatched. We don't have any ongoing abilities, so he's probably not going to be too useful. This is a new item I've never seen. Choose a common trinket gift. That's really good because I assume it's going to get upgraded by this effect. What else do we got here? We are looking to level up our uncommons if possible. This is expensive, but I think we're going to get it. We do have this guy, which knocks out an opposing enemy. So, like, if this guy's here, it would knock out the guy who's in the same spot opposite him. But then, obviously, on subsequent casts, he wouldn't. He can't knock out the same guy more than once because he's already knocked out, right? I've never actually used this guy, but he seems like he's not going to synergize with our team at all. And he's kind of slow. Yeah, they could definitely work on the balance. I kind of am in the boat that they should unban more stuff. Like, I think more decks should be viable. I don't want them to unban stuff to make a tier 0 deck. I want them to unban stuff to make, like, more tier 3 and tier 2 decks, right? Like, I want tier elements to be unbanned so there's more like, tier elements should be a playable strategy, but it's not very good right now, type of stuff. But yeah, I don't want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Too much during this. Let's go ahead and get this and see what happens. So is this blue? It's not blue. Huh, so it wasn't affected by that, which is kind of annoying. So this, when you get a monster, the first monster you buy each day gets plus 20 damage. When they all combine at the end, it combines their damage buffs that they have. So this could be good, especially if we're buying stuff that we already have on the board. Eventually, it'll be useful. Do we want to increase the shop rarity? Because I do think we can get a little bit higher percent on this. Or do we want to get more free refills, free rerolls from items? I think we want this. So I think we're rerolling. I don't really want any of these things. So both of the different statuses have this, where it's on cast, it gives permanent poison. I kind of think we want this guy. I don't really like this guy. Like I said, now he's sellable. He could sell for 25. I think we might just sell this guy. I don't think I'm ever going to use him. I think we're going to buy this. Oh, these guys are also really weird. I haven't figured out a good way to use them because they all knock out on sell. Actually, that's a lie. I did figure out one run how to use it, but then he wasn't actually good enough, so I replaced him. But I had the fire version of this, and there's this other guy that makes you immune to getting knocked out as long as he goes off first, which obviously I had it set up so he would go off first. The goal in this game is to win 10 against 10 people before you lose enough time. So here you can see how many... I actually didn't know this. I've never hovered over this. You can see how many hearts you lose each day. So we're on day 5+ already. So we'll lose 3 lives a day. So before you hit 0 lives, you want to try and win 10 matches. And it's asynchronous, so you build a good board. And then you fight someone else's board that they also had on day 6. But anyways, we got to rearrange now because we probably want this going to the Puffloon. Because if we can because this is permanent. This is not per battle like this guy. This guy's per battle, right? So this, for the rest of the battle, Puffloon does more. This is permanent. But this guy's really slow, right? He triggers once every 8 seconds. So maybe he'll go off 1 or 2 times per battle, but it's going to be making Puffloon stronger and stronger every single battle, which is what we want. Is this guy any good for us? Disable ongoing. We don't have ongoing, which we could use to like disable enemies, but it's random whether what row they're going to be in, right? So I've never found a good way to use this guy. I think we want to reroll this again. Poison. Okay, we got a few poison. We got this new guy as well. I don't think that's going to be relevant for us. So this guy's a super rare. We had a pretty low chance to get this guy. We can't get both of them. This guy's also pretty good, just in general, poison support. We might have to get rid of Plunderbird. I think he probably made his money back for us already, if we sell him. So it's probably worth it. This guy's probably better because he gets damage equal to the poison that's on the enemy. So if we're doing a lot of poison, then this guy's going to do a lot of damage. And he also casts really quickly, right? He's got a 3-second cast. This guy is really good because he lowers his cooldown every single time you buy a bug. And actually, it's funny because this is the fire version of that right there. But what you could do then is you can just like buy bugs and sell them back for half of the cost refunded to keep lowering this guy's cooldown to try and make him go faster and faster. He starts with a pretty bad cooldown, but it gets pretty good later on if you can get it below like 2 seconds or even down to like 1 second. This guy's definitely the most powerful thing we can get just straight up. I wonder if we want to lock the shop for this. I think this is definitely a sell the Plunderbird, buy this guy. Now, how do I organize the board to be good? Because we want to permanently buff this guy, at least for now. Like, this is kind of a temporary member of the team, because he's giving permanent buffs. But, like, he's not actually that strong otherwise. So we want to be buffing this guy, because this guy's going to be the strongest. I'm kind of tempted, because this guy goes off in 3.5, so, like, this guy would be faster. This guy goes off in 4, but he gives poison to that. So I think it's better. So I'm thinking we do this. Because this makes this guy go... Oh, wait, no, this guy has multi... No, he doesn't. We didn't actually get that level 4. Never mind. So this guy is going to make this guy go off faster, right? And then we might as well buff this guy with that. And then I think we're just going to let the Shogapede go for now. And maybe we'll get another chance for it later. But I kind of like the Craghorn to give us some defense, but maybe we could get something better. Like, is this better? No, this guy's really slow. Huh. The Craghorn might have to go, because I think the board would be better if we just straight up had Shogapede here. And we just did only poison. Like, we're just going to overwhelm our opponents with too much poison. I'm really trying to figure out if I should lock the shop to make sure that this stays here. Because it's going to be good in the long run, but we're already, like, getting past buying common guys very much. I think we just battle and hope that maybe we can find another one. We aren't making a whole lot of money right now is another issue. Okay, this guy's got a cool guy because we've seen this guy before, but in his first form. And this guy has, when he gets to level 3, he evolves into this guy, which gets permanent stats on Battlestar, which is pretty powerful. You can see here we've put 400 poison on them already, and they just can't really compete with that. They did pretty good up until then. They even had the shiny guy over here. They had this guy getting lots of permanent stats, but that was not enough. He healed 1,700 in that fight and did 1,700 damage. Like, this guy was by far the strongest, but he could not compete with the fact that this thing put out 306 poison. And this guy dealt 1,000. Out of curiosity, I guess we have to get out of here to see how much permanent, because he gets also in battle poison. Okay, so he got, this probably went off twice, would be my guess. So it gave him 6 permanent poison, which is pretty good. Here we got an interesting item. This guy works with electric, which we don't have. But we got an interesting item, right? We got a super rare trinket, which, again, I don't know. Last time it didn't really seem to synergize with this, which was kind of weird. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended. But this is really expensive, but super rare trinkets are really good. So I think we want to do this. Okay, it did give us a legendary one. I don't know why that previous one didn't work. So monsters in our shop now have 200 extra damage, right? You can see all these guys have 200 damage. So anyone that we buy, if we can get them to combine with something on the board, that will give us a lot more damage. And here you can see, this is what I was talking about earlier. This guy lets us buy more items, which is good for Craghorn, right? Unfortunately, we're in an awkward spot where I want both of these, but we're 4 gold short. I'm kind of tempted to lock the shop for this guy, but maybe that's a bad strategy. I think we're getting the Craghorn. Because if we could get this guy, it makes it so... Ooh, wait. This is not what he used to do. Okay, they changed this guy. I'm guessing because he was too strong. Essentially, what you could do with this guy is he used to say just like, you get to buy an extra item on the day. It didn't have anything to do with battle start, so you can see that this is requiring you to actually put this guy on the board to get this effect, which is actually really good, right? You keep increasing your limit every single day as long as you have this guy. But previously what you could do is I could like buy this guy on the fly, re-roll the shop, and it instantly would give me another item. And then I could, if I saw another one of this guy, I could buy another one, re-roll the shop again, and get another item, right? And you could just quickly do that. And you could even sell them, buy another one to get another item. But now they've kind of changed that, which I understand. They've made you actually have to use this guy on the board. But I think he's just not going to work for our build. Otherwise, that is interesting. It does make the Craghorn a lot worse for us because I didn't realize that this guy had changed. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Our shop is getting a little bit too high level because our uncommons are now becoming less likely to appear. We haven't really seen a way to lower the shop level. You can lower the shop level, though. Ooh, this guy has a shiny of something that evolves. You can see that his cooldown goes down by 24% every single battle for every fire guy. So he's super strong right now. They might actually kill us. They just do like a lot, but we do way more poison than they do fire. So I guess it just wasn't enough. Also, you can see at this point, we have like up to 5,700 health. So this starts scaling really hard of how much damage you actually have to do. How did this guy do? He did a lot of burn, right? Burn is just a stronger version of poison, but he didn't do as much poison as this guy. And this is starting to get out of hand, right? Like, this guy got another 6. Ooh, we got an item that gives all of our toxic monsters toxic. I do see this guy, though. Like, obviously, if we buy an item and we want to have bought the monsters first, that could possibly gain benefits from it. Because the item only applies once. So this guy, when allies inflict poison, he gains 6 damage permanently. I think this is going to be better than Craghorn. Even though we spent all this time building up Craghorn and he's done a little bit of work for us, I think this guy just doing tons of damage and being an extra poison guy, because this is permanent, right? This isn't just in battle. He's just going to slowly get to like being in the thousands of damage done. So I think that's going to be a very valuable pickup. He is a little bit slow with casting, though, so maybe we could edit that. But anyways, we do this, so now he will get this poison effect as well. And then both of the Craghorns are up for sale probably now, because we probably don't need them. And you can see that our uncommon rate is going down. So we preferably need to start finding the duplicates that we need. The rate for this, finding this, is probably at its max right now. Maybe it'll go up a few more %. And this is just going to become more and more common. So we're really looking... I don't know if we want to actually buff this guy. This guy seems like a temporary member. We're really looking to max out this guy and maybe max out this guy if possible. Okay, here's one of these guys. I think we can keep looking. There's one of those guys. Alright, we're definitely buying that. We need 2 more of these. At least 1 more of these would be nice. Hopefully, maybe they'll give us the opportunity to lower our shop rank a little bit at some point. But the other thing is, because we're playing this guy, I think the lower a shop rank trinkets are maybe the lowest rarity, which we can't get the lowest rarity. But there are items that can also do it. Here's another guy, actually. I've never used this guy. This guy would probably be better than this guy on our final board, right? But I think it's too expensive right now, so we can't really make it happen. Maybe we'll be able to do it later on. Okay, this guy's got shock, lots of healing. This thing's gonna be scary. But hopefully that'll mean that it's kind of a slow fight. So this guy will get to go off. He's already gone off twice, I think. So this guy's gotten 6 more poison. Oh, we're just killing him too fast. This guy only gets to go off twice, and then by then we've done way too much poison. Like, this is getting really out of hand, right? And the funny thing is, this guy keeps getting stronger the more this guy does, and this guy's just getting stronger in general. He actually did pretty good for that being his first fight. He's got 526 damage now already per cast. Okay, we got another event. Randomly, okay, this transforms all of your monsters into 1 rarity higher, which would be really bad for it. Like, we don't want to do that. It is funny, and this is one of the ways you can get a mythical. We'd have to have a legendary, though, to actually get a mythical, which we don't have any legendaries. Give a monster electric typing and +5 shock. I'm pretty sure you can use this because, like, no monsters have more than 2 types, but I'm pretty sure that you can give them a 3rd type. I'm pretty sure I did that before. This effect doesn't actually do anything for us because none of our monsters that deal damage are hitting multiple times, so it wouldn't actually be worth it. But I do think this last one's going to be worth it because it's going to let us start printing money. At the start of each day, we're going to get 30 gold. And so this is the end of a day. I'm pretty sure it would count as the next day starting after this. So we'll get 30 gold every single day now, which should help us find the things in the shop that we need to get, right? And here we got this guy, a legendary dragon who on cast, he gives the guy in front of him multicast for this battle, but he also increases his cooldown, so he doesn't spam quite that much. Here's another good guy that we've seen before and I pointed out. He permanently lowers the cooldown of the guy behind him. But I think our board is probably too good at this point that I don't really want to remove something for this guy. Like, I don't know what I would be trying to lower the cooldown of. Maybe this guy, but I think it's a little bit late for that. We would have had to have gotten this guy earlier. This guy's also really good. He just charges the ally behind him by 1 second every time he goes off. And he goes off pretty fast. And if you could level him up at level 3, he charges the ally behind him by 3 seconds. So he's essentially just a battery for the person behind him. So if you have like something really important that needs to go off, you can use this guy. But because of how our board works, we'd probably want to do that to like this guy, but there's no good way to do it, right? If everyone needs to be around this. Now there is a trinket that we could really make use of, which makes it so that everyone counts as adjacent to each other, which would mean that anytime anyone goes off, this guy would go off. And anytime this guy goes off, he would give everyone poison. If we could find that trinket, I think we just win the game. But we haven't seen it so far. Here, we're just going to go ahead and buy the black sludge because it's just good for us. This is interesting. It's a water guy who makes it on battle start permanently everyone gets 20 healing, which only applies to this guy, but this guy's going off more than anyone else. I think it's probably not worth it, but it's kind of close, right? Like that, we could essentially make us very hard to kill also by having this guy heal a bunch. Let's re-roll. Okay, we found this and this. It's kind of expensive. I think for sure we're getting this guy. Are we even gonna bother with this? We're kind of, like, our odds of finding uncommons are pretty low, so I kind of feel like we do have to move on to that. That's useless. Okay. We did find this. So now we're in the awkward spot where we probably have to sell something, right? I think I made a mistake by buying this guy. This costs a lot. We gotta sell 2 things. Like, is this guy gonna be worth it, or is it better to just buff this guy more? Let's maybe look at them. What do you do? You get 12 damage permanently. Not that great, honestly. It's pretty good, but not great. Where's the other guy? Is the other guy blue? What rarity are you? Oh, you're purple. Right. He gets damage equal to 2 times poison. So now we're wasting a little bit of money because of what happened, but I'm thinking that this is not going to end up pulling through. Or maybe I should give up on this. But we only need 1 more of these, right? There's a lot that we only need 1 more of. I think this has to go. We need this. And then I think this guy should probably go. Because if we could just find the last one of these, I think we win the game. I should reroll now because our chances are higher before the shop ranks up. But we didn't find it. Oh, should I have put the... I didn't see... But the guy we bought had 200 damage, right? I wonder if I should put that guy in, or if this guy has a lot more poison, making him more worth it. We do so much poison. You can see they have this, which I don't know why. I guess they have multiple of these, is why they did that. I mean, they put up a pretty good fight near the end. This Magmite was giving them a lot of shielding. He did 500 shields. Yeah, you can see that this guy's just doing twice as much damage as this guy. And this guy, again, I think went off twice, giving this guy 6 more poison. This guy's not that useful anymore. But if we could get the thing where everyone adjacent to each other procs each other, then this would be... He'd be good just because he goes off quickly, right? But right now, he's just kind of there applying a little bit of poison, not a whole bunch. Ooh, the first thing we find is that. That's not what you want to see. Random legendary monster is not good because we don't want any of the legendaries. At least not that I can think of. And they're actually worth less than they're only worth 25 to sell. So that's not worth it. Let's reroll. Oh, we hit it. That's going to be big. Okay, we get... Oh, is this it? All of your monsters are now considered adjacent to each other. There it is. Obviously, the super speed crest is also good. The people on the right have 20% cooldown. But this just makes it so now when anyone goes off, the Puffloon goes off. And whenever the poison cloud dude goes off... Yeah, you can see here, it shows with this guy that everyone now counts as adjacent to him. And I'm pretty sure that everyone counts as adjacent to him for his second ability there. So, getting more items today is probably a good idea. Let's do that. Red coin, lose 1 health. I mean, either way, we're already past day 5, so losing 1 health actually... But this is nice that it shows how many items you have left today. Losing 1 health doesn't actually do anything for us, because whether you hit 0 flat or overshoot it, you still get your last stand. So I think this is probably worth it to get $20. And then this. See, this was the one... Oh, I read this wrong. I thought because it was a green item that it would give a green trinket, but it actually gives a common trinket. So it did upgrade. I was just reading it wrong. I'm surprised that the green item gives a common trinket, whereas like we saw earlier, that purple present was a super rare item that gave a super rare trinket. But this is also a choose. Maybe that's why, because the super rare was not a choose, it was a you receive a random thing. So yeah, I think we want this. What do we got? Ooh, we probably just go this, right? We could start to like try and earn some interest with this. But I think we just go with this, buff our poison more. So this guy, we're sacrificing 200 damage for 2 poison. I don't know, they're probably pretty close to equal, so I doubt it matters that much. This guy might be better, though. Because this guy's obviously getting a lot of damage anyways. But this guy's not getting damage ever. I think we do buy this back again. Give us another chance to hit it. Here's the thing that I used with the plunder, the plunder guy. What was his name again? Plunderbird. This guy triggers adjacent water allies. So I was using him to trigger the 10 multicast Plunderbird more. And when this guy levels up, he also gets multicast. So I was triggering the Plunderbird like tons of times. I think we buy this again as well. I know we just sold all this stuff and we're kind of wasting money. But now that we got this, we're looking for one less thing now, right? Should I reroll now? Because this rate is going down now, and we're finding more super rares. So I think we reroll now. We found this. I think we'll lock the shop for that then. And I think now with the Puffloon at level 3 with 3 multicast, I think this is just going to get out of hand. But this guy's got a lot of healing. Oh yeah, we also have everyone adjacent to everyone. Yeah, I don't think anyone has a chance against us anymore. We did almost 1,700 poison. How much did this guy do on his own? Wait, why is he dealing damage as well? What? What's making this guy deal damage? How much damage does he have? Oh, because we combined the Puffloons, the one that had 200 damage, combined with him. So now he also, on top of doing a bunch of poison, is also doing 200 damage every hit. Which is meaning that he does more damage than our damage dealers as well. That's crazy. Yeah, this guy now only has chance to go off once before the match ends. Wow. I think this is probably a guaranteed win here. It's looking pretty good. Go ahead and level up that guy, which will give us a trinket, which will be upgraded in rarity. I don't think we want to do that because we're still hoping to find one uncommon. When you buy a monster, level it up. That could be a really good way for us to quickly get this guy to level 3. But also we have choose a trainer and their ability. So you at the beginning we got to pick a trainer. This is an item that just lets you pick another trainer. I think both of these are really good. Unfortunately, we don't currently have, like, I can't guarantee we're gonna find something in the shop that we need, right? I think the trainer's gonna be better. 2 shop ranks. This is too slow. We're gonna win before that matters. Give your fire... Oh, this only works on fire monsters. If it would give it to, like, our Puffloon, that would be OP. I don't want any of these. There is no don't pick anything option, so I guess this is kind of the don't pick anything. I guess I could pick this as well as don't pick anything. This increases our shop rank by a lot, which decreases our chance of finding uncommons and rares, but it'll increase our chance of finding super rares. I don't think we want that. I think we just take this, because then we get an egg that we could... Like, we could sell the egg for 0. Wait. It's hatching into this guy? Okay. But it's not gonna... Like, it's never gonna happen, right? Unfortunately. Because we're gonna win before then. Here's our first legendaries appearing. This makes it so waters heal more, so just doubling this guy's healing, I think will just make us, like, almost functionally unkillable, because this guy goes off so often. So yeah, let's go ahead and buy that. We'll buy this guy, and it'll combine. We'll get another trinket. Right, and we get to pick from a legendary trinket. So we can make our top middle have +1 multicast, which would mean this guy has 4 multicast. When your monsters gain stats, they get 80% more. That would work on this guy. I don't know if it would work on this guy, and it would work on this guy's effect, but I don't think that's good enough. Your monsters have +3% damage for each trinket we have. That would be our 9th trinket, so we'd have like +30% damage, which would mean that's probably not worth it. I think just the extra multicast is the best, right? It's not fantastic, but I guess this would work pretty good on our guys who are supposed to deal damage here, right? This guy's already up to 1,000 damage per hit. Maybe this is the best, because everyone does do some damage, and this guy's gonna scale. Like, he's already doing ×2 damage. If you then add 30% more, and then this guy is gonna have like 350 more damage, and this guy's gonna have 60 more damage. Yeah, maybe this is the best one. The multicast is not bad, but he already has 3 multicast. I think we go with this just because it's going to accelerate us to killing people so quickly. And then I think we could reroll a little bit, see if we can find something. Okay, we did find something. And again, this guy counts as adjacent to everyone, so now he's even stronger. On battle start, everyone gets 10 damage. That's okay. Rightmost has cooldown. That's pretty good. When a monster levels up, it gains cooldown. I can't really guarantee that a whole lot of our stuff is going to be leveling up anymore. I think we just want this because this guy's kind of slow, and this guy going off faster would be good. We could even maybe flip, huh? We could flip this guy to up here so he goes off faster and gives everyone poison faster. Because this only lowers his cooldown by 0.5. This guy's cooldown got lowered by 1.1. How much do you get lowered by? 0.7. I think that's probably more efficient to put this guy up here so everyone's getting more poison faster. And then let's go ahead battle. But I think, like, we're already in such a good spot. All we need to do is, like, maybe find the duplicates for some of those. But I think we're pretty safe that we're going to win this one. This guy's got a lot of shinies. What the heck? He does have the trainer that gives you increased shinies. This is a problem. This guy doesn't stop attacking, huh? Okay. I see what happened here. Alright, so as you can see, this guy has 9 multicast because he's level 3 and shiny. His cooldown has been lowered to 1.7. Also, this guy triggers that guy every single time. But I'm guessing, yeah, he has this. Whenever your monster casts, they get 10 damage for the battle. So this guy, because he's casting 9 times every 1.7 seconds, he's getting 90 more damage. So this is like a turbo high roll. That's kind of hard for us to compete with, especially with so many shinies. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Maybe we do need to replace this guy, otherwise we might be looking at a loss. So you can see that even though I thought we were in a really good spot, there's people out there who are doing better. Let's immediately get this guy, which gives us another trinket. Top middle has 30% cooldown. Does that even matter? Because this guy's mostly triggering based off of everyone else triggering, so I think that's probably not worth it. Monsters in your shop have cooldown, so that'd be a good way if we combine things to give that cooldown over. I think probably we just want this, because if then we can find any one of these four, then they automatically hit level 3, right? So I think this is the play. We don't want that. Is there even a good poison legendary? Let's find out. No, not that. I guess this could maybe work with the Puffloon. Not that. This is shock. Oh, this guy. Whenever an ally inflicts poison, charge us by 1. This guy's actually really good because we do a lot of poison. If we could find that guy, that would be great. We would probably get rid of this guy for it. What is this? I've never seen this. Give a random monster plus 20 sell value. I don't want to do that because I don't want to sell one of my random monsters. Okay, more healing is probably good for us. Because you saw how fast we died there. Granted, that guy was scaling infinitely. So we probably weren't going to be able to stop him even with a little bit more healing. Okay, so the first thing we buy levels up. So obviously buying something rarer would be better, right? Unfortunately, we didn't find the legendary, but it's only a 20% chance for legendaries, and we see legendaries, just not the right one, right? So this will automatically get this guy to level 3. Which also gives us a good trinket. Increase stats. See, I don't think this counts as increasing stats, because it just has damage. Maybe we do just do this, so the Puffloon goes off more. Now he's got ×4, you can see. Alright, can we find something? Shiny version of this. Do I buy this? I just don't think I'm actually going to get this guy up to level 3. Because I want to replace this guy, right? What are we looking for at the moment? That's kind of like our last chance to find this guy. We're probably not finding this guy anymore. Okay, there's one of them. Okay, Ooh, there he is. Alright, there's the snake. If we could get this guy, I think this guy will be crazy, right? How does he look when he levels up, by the way? Does he charge more, or... No, he just does way more poison. And then if he gets to level 4, like, this is insane, right? Some of the level 4 changes are crazy. He goes from 15-second cooldown 900 poison to 2-second cooldown 900 poison. And it looks like Shiny just increases his poison. But yeah, if we could get that... it doesn't really matter where we place him because everyone's adjacent to everything. Let's hope we can win this battle, because hitting our last stand right now would be kind of bad. This guy, does he have metronome? No, he doesn't have metronome, so it's not going to be quite as crazy as the last guy. In fact, what we're doing seems to be crazier, because we were healing like just as much damage as they were doing. Okay, so we're 1 win away from winning the run. Oh, this guy actually kind of counters us, right? We were actually losing a lot of poison to this guy. Well, this guy doesn't do percent. The other guy's the guy who does percent. This guy just does flat. Still did a lot, right? This guy's starting to catch up in damage now that he's maxed out. But he's not doing that much healing and poison. And this guy's just kind of slow. Maybe this guy's not really worth it. I do think that we should put the snake in the front, right? To lower that guy's cooldown. So I think you are done now. We'll probably sell you, but let me think about it for a second. So, like, you can see, because everyone up front gets lower cooldown, but this guy's cooldown is so long that it's going to lower it by, like, 2.5 seconds, which is pretty good. Especially when he's getting charged 1 second every time anyone goes off, and this guy goes off 4 times. This guy should be going off a lot, actually. Just because this guy's going off every time anyone goes off 4 times. I don't think we care about that. Although maybe instead of this guy, we could do that to just start getting us a lot more healing per day. I think that's probably not gonna end up paying off. Reroll with all super rares. We don't need super rares, so that's not a good item for us. Purple gift. Let's get the purple gift, and then we'll probably sell this guy, buy the Cobrex. By the way, this guy is incredibly OP if you can make it work, but you need a flying guy on your team. It permanently gives the flying ally in front of him 1 multicast. So you could end up with guys who have like crazy amounts of multicast. But this guy is super rare, so it's hard to get him early on. Alright, give me an item. Metronome. Okay, Metronome was the thing that we saw that other guy doing, right? So now Puffloon is going to do insane amounts of damage, because every time he goes off, he's going to gain 10 damage for the rest of the fight. Go ahead, buy this. We shouldn't even bother re-rolling because our legendary chance is just going to go up. And we won't have enough money to buy this guy anyway, so we'll either win now or we'll try and get the last version of him next time, right? So I think that's the best we could do. This could be the final match of the run. I think we're going to win this pretty easily, actually. Yeah. Okay. How much did this guy do, though? It didn't seem like he was going off as much as I thought he would. Oh, he went off like 4 times. That's not bad. He did a lot of poison. This guy did... He was trying to keep up with this guy. This guy did 20,000 damage. This guy did 15,000 damage. But you can see here, like, this guy's build was kind of built around this, which just gains damage based on what everything else had. But, like, the only thing he has that has damage is, like, this guy. For each unique... So this guy is gaining a whole bunch of damage, and then this guy's trying to absorb all that damage that this guy's gaining. But honestly, like, the rest of his team didn't really make sense. So it wasn't really helping this strategy a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, that's a run. We ended up doing a poison build. I have done a poison build before, like I said at the beginning, but this time we didn't pick a trainer that synergized with it. We just kind of like fell into it, right? Which is how these games tend to go. You kind of like fall into a build, or maybe you get offered something that's really good for a specific build and you're like, all right, well, I'm going for that now. And then sometimes you end up pivoting. In this case, this Venopuff stuck with us the whole way, and he ended up being on the final team still. So that's the first time I have used this guy, though. I haven't used this guy yet. It seemed pretty good. It was going to get a lot better if we could level this guy up. But this Puffloon is just crazy, especially with the everyone counts as adjacent to each other. That was just insane. And then if you're playing ranked, well, I guess it always shows you like a recap of your build here. But if you're playing ranked, you also get stars based on how many wins you got above 5 wins. I think at 5 wins, you like break even. Lower than that, you might lose some rank, and higher than that, you gain stars to rank up. Obviously, I haven't played very many matches. I think the starting rank is like bronze 7. So I played a few to get here, but Then you get some rank, and you can always look at all the stuff that you had along the way. I don't know why it won't scroll. Oh, there we go. You can see all your monsters, and you can always like take a screenshot of it to try and like emulate builds or um, make a new run and maybe change something about the build that you didn't quite like, so you can remember everything that was in it. But that's gonna do it for this one. I thought this game was really fun. We might play it some more, but it should be releasing later on in the year, so maybe we'll wait for it to actually release. As you could see, even today, me playing, they had already made some changes to the game. Um, so I look forward to them making some good changes, making it more fun. Like I said, it's kind of like a more simplified version of the bazaar, but it still has the crazy, ridiculous builds. You just don't spend every day like min maxing, buying, selling a whole bunch of stuff like you do in the bazaar. Whereas in this one, it's more, can you create a crazy build? And this game has a lot more permanent buffs, right? Like we were permanently giving Puffloon poison. Um, we were there's other permanent things, but that's really the only permanent one for poison. Each build kind of has like a permanent thing that it can try and do. Um, but sometimes you could synergize them with each other and like have crossovers where this guy can be part of multiple builds. So you end up giving it permanent stats from multiple different directions. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.